guys, this is Lauren.
Hello.
We're quite up close and personal today.
Oh, I know, just like an evaluation of Lauren.
No, that's not what. No. Oh. Okay, we can do that if you want. An evaluation of Lauren. This is going to be the second episode in the Dissect a Poem series, where I pick a poem that you can also read online. So I'm going to link the poem that I've picked in the description box down below. Lauren and I have copies of it here. I printed it out, look, and we have pen and paper. It's also very exciting. We feel like we're at school. Yeah. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do in a second, if you want to, is pause this video, go and read the poem that's linked down below while we read it right now, and then scribble down some notes as to what you think it means or what it makes you feel, and then come back. The aim of this exercise is so like hopefully we'll both come back and say different things.
Yeah.
And that aren't wrong because they're different, but just because with poetry it's so subjective and you always get different stuff from it. So I thought it would be fun during this series to occasionally, instead of just me spouting stuff at you, to have someone else on as well. The one I've picked, because I have to pick one that's available for you to read online as well, is Dimensions, which is in a collection called Beautiful Girls by Houghton, which is really, really good, and I recommend that you check it out. But I haven't studied this poem or like done anything. Right. I have not. I've just checked that it's online. So I have copies here. So we're going to read it, and then we're going to make notes. How long should we give ourselves?
10 minutes?
10 minutes? Okay. All right.
How long do we need?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's quite a short poem, so we'll give ourselves 10 minutes. So you guys go and read the poems. Click pause. Go read the poem. Scribble some notes down if you want to. Then come back and we'll have a chat with you about it.
You may turn over your papers now.
How was that for you, Lauren?
I enjoyed that.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was good.
Should we display a sheet of...
We made some notes.
Oh, I don't know if they can see that.
You can see.
No,
different types of notes.
Yeah. So should we go through this in... Let's do it stanzas and then we can...
And then talk about overarching things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So should we start with the title? What do you think of the title?
Dimensions. Oh, I'd not really looked at the title.
We can come back to that later. Should we talk about that in the context of the whole poem when we get to it at the end? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think yes, I think we should do that.
Okay, cool. So it starts off, I become more afraid of your body every year. Its tenderness and its strength squeeze me down to a little cube of love, all sides shimmering and melting at once.
So you've got the juxtaposition of tenderness and strength, and then also like the heat and the cold sort of thing. I quite liked that. Well, that's what I got for it.
Yeah, that's what I get.
Tell me I'm correct, please.
Yes. Gold star for love.
Yay!
Yay! So yeah, that's what I actually went. It says like a little cube of love, like she is an ice cube, and it goes on. We'll get onto the next stanzas in a bit, but this theme of like melting and her kind of slipping away and disappearing.
Yeah.
Like he's around her in this heat, and she can't remain solid. That seems to be both a good thing and a bad thing. Like she's melting in this puddle of love, but then also she has no control.
Yeah, I interpreted the whole thing to be a kind of good thing, that it was happening to both of them.
Yeah.
But it's just being the fact that they can't control it, I suppose, and that's the sort of...
Quite a lot of sexual imagery, losing control in the good way.
Yeah.
But then also...
Then that's where this like afraid comes from.
Yeah.
I feel like when it's like I'm becoming afraid of your body, it's only because they can't trust themselves almost, or they're losing themselves in each other, so they're losing their control.
Yeah. But like every year I become more afraid of your body, of your almond skin that breaks a sweat like the first droplets from a dam. Behind your skin there's an ocean.
So with this, what I thought was it's very much about, again with that sexual imagery, and it's like the power kind of hidden behind someone. I feel like the whole way through this poem there's a feeling of something about to happen, or kind of like this urgency.
We have that holding back of emotion, but also if we're talking about sex, then obviously we're kind of talking about ejaculation as well. I feel like a little
no, you said you're like talking about like ejaculation. It's like how my mum, when she talks about someone else in the family, even if there's no one here, she's like, it's like under your breath thing.
It starts with, I become more afraid of your body every year, and then a slight reword of it of every year I become more afraid of your body. And with the title of the poem is Dimension, so we think of dimension as space and time. The time is the year, like each year as it progresses, and the space is the body.
Yeah.
So that I become more afraid of your body every year. And I like the repetition of that because it can sound sinister. Like, I am scared of the power that you have over me. I am scared because I love you, and that terrifies me because love is terrifying. But then there's also that I don't know, that physical strength and power that is kind of lurking a bit. I am scared because
your body could harm me. Like,
but also that emotional power. They have the power to hurt you because you love them. You are vulnerable.
That's interesting. I thought the use of year actually was interesting, because, like, with that use of time, because this feels very present as a poem. I feel like it's about something that's happening now, and I think that's interesting that she's like, every year I become more afraid, or the sense of it being a yearly thing, and that this is going on for a long period of time.
This idea that that yourself is not your body, that you're hiding yourself within your body, and it's contained within these walls like a box. So this urgency of them trying to connect with each other with their bodies.
But it's not that. It's more like to get behind the body into who you actually are.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another thing on, like, being afraid of your body. It's almost like, I don't want your body there. It's like, I just want you.
That's like
kind of another angle.
Because your body is not you.
Yeah.
It's like there's another person here. There's like you and your body.
Yeah.
Like, and I want to be with you. And also, I thought it was interesting thinking about the idea of, I'm afraid of your body every year because time affects the body. Like, if you love this person, and then this is like a very physical thing obviously that's happening here, that's going to change over time and they're going to look different. I'm afraid of your body, like, I'm afraid of how it's changing. I'm afraid of how I am going to react to that, and probably inadvertently I'm afraid of how you're going to react to how I change.
That's
as
really
well.
interesting. I think that's quite key in the third stanza, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, so do you
your
want
body
to
and yourself changing.
Do you want to read the third one?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So this is, your body every year is becoming more afraid. My colours are fading because you have lit them, and one day you will not rouse me when I wake in colour.
Yeah. I think this one is the most, I think it gets more cryptic as the poem continues.
That last line, I'm just like, one day you will not rouse me when I wake in colour. I had like nothing to say about that, because I just thought, I don't really understand.
Well, I thought
maybe the more you get into the poem, I feel like that's a bit more like about aging now, which I didn't really think when I first read it. But I like the stanza because then it turns back round, and it's that the partner's body is becoming more afraid rather than she is afraid of their body.
Of two halves. So, like, at the beginning, she is afraid of the body, and then it says, it flips.
Yeah,
your body is becoming more afraid.
And it actually doesn't say of me.
No,
I think
it doesn't.
I interpreted that as being, you're becoming afraid of me, but actually it just says it's becoming afraid, which could mean anything, like you said. It could be
afraid of its own mortality or of her, or it doesn't say of her. She's actually absent from here completely. The only bit of her that is mentioned is her heart.
No, well, not actually, because it's like my colours are fading.
Well, yeah, but I mean of a body. I mean, so she's in it, but the only physical thing of her that is mentioned is her heart. So she is only her heart. She only exists as her heart,
as her love.
As her love, She that is what she is. And then she also has her colours. It says, as you said, my body every year is becoming... Sorry, your body every year is becoming more afraid. My colours are fading because you've lit them. It's like, that again, that image of an ice cube, of being lit and diminished as someone is, I
guess taking from you, loving you. I really liked that sentence. My colours are fading because you have licked them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's the age and the use of the body, and then the imagery of licking them like a lollipop, and then it all goes kind of grey and crappy because you've been licking it too much.
You want more of me, and I don't have an endless amount of me.
And it's also like that image is quite childlike, that you're licking, but obviously licking is also very adult and sexual as well, and I liked that merged together. I think that worked really nicely.
But that last line here, my colours are fading because you've licked them, and one day you will not rouse me when I wake in colour. I thought of that is I think the most sinister part for me, in the sense that when I wake in colour, I thought that when she's dead.
Yeah, but I didn't think, as you've been talking about it, that's what I thought. But I didn't think that when I first read it. Because it's like, one day you will not rouse me, and I guess wake in colour, wake into the afterlife.
Yeah, so she'll get all her colours back when she's no longer with him, when she is dead.
Oh, yeah.
Or when she leaves him. There's also a play on words there. One day you will not rouse me as in wake me, but also arouse me if we're talking about sex. So one day you will not rouse me when I wake in colour. So I don't know if death here is a way of almost reclaiming the self, because then she'll be her own again. But I'm not saying that that's said in a positive light as reclaiming.
It's just like a fact of it, rather than, it's not,
because they won't die together. So the last stanza is, all of me and all of you drinks of the fear in my heart. Erasure is never complete. I try to imagine you without a body. In the heat of the night we sing like tin. So it's like she's making herself smaller for him. So he's taking her colours, she's losing herself in the dimensions of his body. She can't imagine him without a body, whereas she, throughout this, seems to have none. And I think that you could take that, if you wanted to go the darker route then, if she has no body, she has no body. like she has no body apart from this person. Like,
Okay.
if you smash those two words together, I think you can take it further. I think it depends whether or not you want to read this as like a love poem and a good love,
Yeah.
or a bad love. He is everywhere. He is consuming me. He won't let me go. Like, which
I didn't
one?
get that at all. That's really interesting, because I read this as much more of them as equal parts
Yeah.
in the love, and I read this last stanza as more like the kind of it's just a continuation of the losing yourself in each other thing, and it's like the trying to get rid of his body. Like, I try to imagine you without a body, but the erasure is never complete. It's like this yearning to get rid of each other's physical selves.
But erasure. So
That's
you
how
read that
I-
erasure is never complete with regard to him or her or both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah.
So, all of me and all of you drinks of the fear in my heart. So, I guess this fear is the previous stanzas of I'm becoming afraid of your body, and all of them are they're using this fear that's driving them onward, I suppose.
Yeah.
And the ultimate goal would be for both of them to be like their spirit, when I think about it that way, or their true selves, like without the shackles of their body. And it's like erasure is never complete. Like, they can never actually do that. They will always have their physical selves. But it's like that's what they're going toward. And then in the heat of the night we sing like tin. I feel like that's like, if this is like a sexual encounter, that's the culmination of it. And that's what you're trying to get to, like your one element there.
Yeah,
And
of
it's
moulding
like tin.
metal.
Yeah, and if you think of like the sound of metal when it just like hums, it's just you're not an actual physical breathing like animal anymore.
Well,
I
like your body is a
suppose.
machine and you are behind the machine.
I read it more as like an elemental thing than a machine. But yeah, that's interesting as well.
And if we're talking about like she's talking about drinking from the heart, which obviously would be like blood, and blood is like metal. So they have these like non-human elements to themselves that they're trying to, as we said, like get past.
Yeah, it's like that's at the end, because everything is actually really organic up until that point.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also all of those things about the natural elements are all very liquid based. Like it's all like sweat and like melting, licking, the ocean, like the first sweat, like the first droplets of a dam. So everything
And
is
drinks.
very drinking from the fear in your heart. And then that's like final line is sort of not the opposite of that, I guess. If it's like a solid tin thing.
If it's ending with the word tin, which is solid, that is like the finality of it. Like we can't get past that. This is the last word. Like this is where we must finish, because we can't.
This
be
is
something
like
that-
the best we can do. It's
Yeah.
like this.
With metal, it does melt in heat. So maybe there's a kind of hope there at the end. Like in the heat of the night, we sing like tin. Maybe there is that kind of hope that we could get, like that I love, because some are so overpowering that we
can melt each other together.
Yeah. But I actually read it. When I read it just now, I read it in the darker way. So it's when it says, all of me and all of you drinks in the fear of my heart. So all she has in her body that she references here is her heart. And then at the end, that is the thing that is also attacked as well. So if that's been melting, if the little cube of love is also her heart, and that's been getting smaller, so her self has been getting smaller. And then at the end, even that is not left alone. So all of me and all of you drinks in the fear of my heart. Erasure is never complete. It feels like they're trying to make her not exist. That's how I felt. Like, not him, just
But
her.
then if it's I try to imagine you without a body,
Yeah, she tries to, he doesn't.
kind of the idea of like sex with someone and then like losing yourself in that, mentally, and just having each other, and the kind of not like I don't think maybe we're getting a bit personal. I don't think you think about your own body that much during sex. I don't know, maybe other people do.
Maybe this is a whole other video.
This is but as in it's, I don't know, if you're like with someone, it's about kind of sights and smells and feelings, but you're not like, oh, here's my arm.
You see their body
but
and
their
you
body-
are sensory.
Yes, yes, that's a much better way of explaining it. But their body is like, it's more about, for you, it's more about their body, I think.
Yeah.
And you is just like feeling. So perhaps that's what they're getting to, and it's about erasure.
If it's the decision of the person who's talking here, then it's kind of positive. If it's a decision forced on that person by the person they're with, it's not. But you can't work that out. There's no complete guideline here that could be like, right, this is exactly what it's saying. You could read it in many different ways. And that's why I think it's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
So do we have anything to say about the title of the poem now that we have read it?
I think the more that it's about physicality and non-physicality, and like the space and time thing, I think dimensions makes a lot of sense.
And then
title.
Yeah, dimensions, and then if you think of dimensions as like shapes, and as you said, like reading the poem and looking at it from different angles.
Ooh.
And like, do you like the poem? Do we
I
like
do
it?
like the poem.
Yeah?
The parts of it that I like the most is that line, the strength squeezed me down into a little cube of love, all sides shimmering and melting at once. I think that's like something that's very tangible.
I think I like the overall like meta-ness of this poem, because she is not herself in this poem either. She's words. So she's like broken free. She has broken free of body to be a poem instead. So she is existing here not as herself. She's existing as speech.
a poem.
So it's like she has managed to break out of body. What it reminded me of, if I have them behind here, not that this is relevant to the actual poem, was not the assignment, but it reminded me a lot of John Donne poetry. So this is the second stanza of John Donne's The Good Morrow. It says, "Good morrow to our waking souls, which watch not one another out of fear, for love, all love of other sights controls, and makes one little room and everywhere. Let sea discoverers to new worlds have gone, let maps to other worlds on worlds have shown. Let us possess one world, each hath one and is one. My face in thine eye, thine in mine appears, and true plain hearts do not in the faces rest. Where can we find two better hemispheres, without sharp north, without declining west? Whatever dies was not mixed equally. If our two loves be one, or thou and I, love so alike that none can slacken, none can die." So two people in bed together who are kind of a bit afraid of each other, who are discovering each other's bodies, because this was written in the time of like discovering the world, so he uses a lot of imagery of like conquering countries.
Everything is here. And
So our room is our
our
galaxy, is our world, and we are countries, and we're exploring each other. And it looks at alchemy too, like at our love that we have swallowed. If it's not equal and all-powering, then we'll die, because we've consumed something that wasn't correct. But if it is all-powerful, then we will live forever together. And I think it's kind of, I'm not saying that this is copying or like a direct homage to that, but I think it is.
It's reminiscent of it.
Yeah, I think so too. So,
how cool!
How lovely! Thank you, Lauren.
Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, I think especially with poetry, like if you're reading it by yourself, you're just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like I don't normally sit down and like actually underline things. You kind of get a very quick overview of poems when you read them, and you can make a decision whether you like them or not. But it's nice to discuss it. Yeah,
and also if it's in a book, like you wouldn't spend this much time over one, because you're like, oh, that's nice. Well, you might sometimes, but
you might go, oh, I like that, it's cool, and then just read the next one. Yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
Yay,
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Come back soon.
I will do.
I will leave a link to Lauren's channel down below. If you're not subscribed, please go and subscribe, because she's lovely.
You don't have to. It's fine.
No, do. I will be checking. Okay. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye. Lots of bookish love.
Oh yeah, sorry. Lots of bookish love. Bye. Bye.